Small pourers are always a hit, perfect for milk, sauces, dressing. They look great on their own or as a little family, and they're ideal for filling those awkward little gaps when you're firing a kiln. I need to make sure the spouts pour well, so let me show you my approach. I've prepared some clay, 200 grams, 300 grams, 400 grams and 500 grams. I'm using a lightly speckled mid-fired clay. So I start by centering a piece of clay. If you haven't already done so, why not subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our latest videos. Once I've centered the clay, I can flatten the top. And I can push down into the clay and open out. Notice I open out with a bit of a scooping motion, and I keep those walls slightly angled inwards. Now I'm ready to pull up the walls. These pourers are so small that they're functional without a handle. Then I trim around the base. I won't trim these pourers when they're leather hard, so I want to make that bottom edge tidy. I'm ready to form the spout. I start by thinning the rim, and I use a chamois to smooth the rim. I squeeze the rim with my thumb and forefinger, and gently pull out the spout with my little finger. Let's take another look. I'm squeezing the rim gently. As I pull out the spout, I'm forming a bit of a channel. I've also used a sponge to just sharpen the pouring edge. As I make the spout, it looks a little more pronounced. As the clay dries, the rim's going to tend back to its circular form. And now I wire through and pick up the pourer with dry hands and place it on a board. And then I repeat for the smaller pieces of clay. Once the pieces are leather hard, I'm ready to trim. Now I often keep my trimming quite simple, but in this case there's so little to do, it's not even trimming. I roll the base on a bat. I like this method. It makes a bit of a natural foot ring so the pourers sit well. I check the shape of the spout, making sure that it still has a sharp pouring edge. And I smooth around the base. And I compress the base with a rib. I find that if I don't trim the base, compressing the clay in this way prevents cracking. I roll a little more just to get that rounded bottom edge. And then I set all the pourers aside to dry fully. I bisque fire when they're fully dry. Time to glaze, and I'm using my glossy white glaze on the inside. It's a really functional glaze that I like to use on surfaces that come into contact with food. It doesn't chip or flake and doesn't craze on my mid-fired clays. And for the outside, I'll glaze with my opal semi-translucent matte glaze. This glaze really allows the character of the clay to shine through. So as I mentioned earlier, These small pourers are fantastic when you're loading the kiln and you need some small pieces to place between other pieces. I'm leaving a couple of centimeters at the bottom on the outside raw. This feels great and gives a bit of grip when you pick up the pourers. I load them in the kiln and glaze fire. The first few are fired and I'm ready to see how they pour. This one has raspberry sauce. And the spout's pretty good. Now you can see the spouts are not as pronounced as when I made them. I think these are going to be super useful. To complement the milk pourer, why not check out my teacup with strainer and lid? And if you're looking for a way to support our channel, why not purchase one of our 2026 pottery calendars? And as always, happy potting!